The spit hit Anna Rodriguez's cheek at exactly 6:47 in the morning. Thick, deliberate, carrying the weight of contempt refined through generations of privilege. The kind of spit that said, "You're less than human, and I want you to know it." Anna Rodriguez stood behind the counter at Pinewood Diner, 34 years old and dying from the inside out. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, 6 months if she was lucky, 3 if she wasn't. The waitress uniform hung loose on a frame that had shed 30 pounds in 4 months. Her daughter's marine jacket, Rodriguez, stitched above the pocket, still carrying the ghost of Kandahar dust, and a dead man's Old Spice hung on the hook behind the register. Too sacred to wear to work. Too sacred to too sacred to let go. The kid who'd spit wore a Yale hoodie, 19 maybe 20. Rolex Submariner catching morning light. Worth more than Anna made in 6 months. Worth more than the experimental treatment her insurance company had denied twice. He laughed with his fraternity brothers, 3 carbon copies, all teeth and entitlement, in the certainty that consequences were for other people. The ground trembled first. Not earthquake, not thunder, something else. Something that made coffee cups rattle across Formica and hanging light fixtures sway like wind chimes before a storm. The windows vibrated in their frames. Dust fell from ceiling tiles that hadn't moved since the Carter administration. Then came the sound. 2,000 motorcycles converging on Pinewood, Montana from 6 states and counting. The noise built like an avalanche. Started distant, grew inevitable, became overwhelming. The kind of sound you feel in your chest before you hear with your ears. Marcus Morrison sat in the corner booth. Always the corner booth, always facing the door. Some lessons from Vietnam stayed with you for 55 years. Some lessons kept you alive every single day after. 76 years old. The number felt impossible some mornings. He'd been 19 in Da Nang, 20 when Tommy died. How did 19 become 76? Where did 57 years go? His beard was gray, had been for 2 decades. Trimmed close to the jaw because nobody wanted to see an old biker looking homeless. The scar down his left cheek had faded from angry red to pale white, but it was still there. Shrapnel. Hill 472, November 1969. The same day Tommy Chen bled out in his arms. The hands wrapped around his coffee cup told stories in scar tissue. Knuckles broken and rebroken. Burns from exhaust pipes and campfires. Calluses thick as boot leather from 40 years gripping motorcycle handlebars. Working man's hands. Warrior's hands. Hands that had killed 3 men in Vietnam and saved maybe a dozen since. The math never balanced. The coffee smelled like safety, motor oil and burnt bacon, and the kind of warmth that seeps into bones that had been cold too long. Pinewood Diner had smelled this way since 1973. Since Marcus first walked through that door after coming home from the war, after 3 years of trying to drink himself to death in Seattle, after realizing death wasn't interested in cowards. The red bandana on his left arm was faded to pink in places, brown in others, where blood had soaked through and dried and never quite washed out. 42 years old, that piece of cloth. Tommy Chen had bled out on it. November 17, 1969. Hill 472 outside Da Nang. Marcus was holding him. 19 years old and watching his best friend die. Watching the morphine kick in 2 minutes too late. Always too late. Promise me you'll live better than I died, ghost. The words haunted Marcus more than the war. More than Emily. More than 30 years of alcoholism. More than anything. He touched the bandana without thinking. Unconscious ritual. Grounding mechanism. The fabric was rough under his fingertips, stiff where blood had crystallized into the weave. He'd stopped trying to wash it out after the first year. The blood was the point. The blood was the promise. 10 steel vipers sat at the counter, nursing coffee, pretending not to notice Anna's humiliation. But they noticed. Vietnam vets don't miss much. Desert Storm vets don't miss much. Iraq vets don't miss much. The military teaches you to see everything, trust, nothing, protect your own. Jack Sullivan stood slowly. 68 years old, president of the Steel Vipers MC. They called him Reaper because death kept reaching for him, and he kept saying, not today. Desert Storm. Pulled 3 men out of a burning Bradley fighting vehicle in '91. Still had the burn scars mapping his arms like topography. Still had nightmares about the screaming. 6 other bikers stood with him. Not threatening, just present. Just a wall of leather and scar tissue between this kid and the woman he thought he could degrade without consequence. The Yale kid Braden, his friends called him, sneered, upper lip curling like he'd stepped in something foul. "What you gonna defend the help?" Jack's voice came out like gravel through a cement mixer. Quiet, controlled, the kind of quiet that meant violence was an option on the table, just not the first option. "The help has a name, Mrs. Rodriguez. You're gonna use it," Braden laughed, the kind of laugh that came from never being told no, never facing consequences, never understanding that money couldn't buy you out of everything. Not in Pinewood, not with these men. "Or what, old man, you'll beat me up? My lawyer costs more per hour than you make in a year. I'll have you arrested." Marcus still hadn't moved, still watching, still drinking coffee, cataloging exits, counting threats, assessing angles. Combat training didn't fade. It just waited. Chris Hammer Brooks, a 3 stools down from Jack, 58 years old, vice president of the Steel Vipers, big man, 6'2", 230, hands like hammers, hence the road name. But something was off about Hammer this morning. He kept checking his phone. Subtle, quick glances. Most people wouldn't notice. Marcus noticed. Vietnam taught you to notice everything. Hammer had been with the club 18 years. Solid, reliable, Jack's closest friend since Desert Storm. They'd pulled each other out of burning vehicles, saved each other's lives a dozen times. That kind of bond didn't break easy. So why was Hammer checking his phone every 90 seconds? Jack spoke again, pulling Marcus's attention back. "Some debts can only be paid in blood, but smart men find other currency." The words hung like smoke. Promise and threat and prophecy woven together. Marcus set down his coffee cup. The ceramic made a soft sound against Formica, but in the sudden silence of the diner, it rang like a bell. He stood, all 6'1" of him, 190 pounds of stubborn refusal to quit. Vietnam tried to kill him. Alcoholism tried to kill him. Guilt tried to kill him. He was still here. The movement hurt. 76 meant arthritis in the knees, meant lower back pain that flared in cold weather, meant 3 cracked vertebrae from a motorcycle accident in '88 that never healed right. But pain was just information. You could ignore information if the alternative was worse. He walked toward the counter. Boots on linoleum, each step deliberate. The bikers parted for him. Respect. Marcus wasn't president, wasn't VP, but he was Ghost. The man who'd survived when everyone else said he shouldn't. The man who'd gotten sober when everyone said he couldn't. The man Tommy Chen died believing in. Braden was still sneering when Marcus reached him. "You're going to apologize." Marcus's voice came out quiet. The kind of quiet that makes people lean in. The kind of quiet that means the talking is almost over. "Or what, old man? You're like 70. What are you going to do 76? And I'm going to teach you something your father didn't." Marcus moved, not fast, didn't need to be fast, just precise. Caught Braden's wrist, applied pressure to the median nerve, dropped him to his knees in 2 seconds. Not violence, control, surgery without the scalpel. "You have 10 seconds. Apologize to Mrs. Rodriguez or I call your father." Braden's face cycled through emotions. Shock, rage, fear, then calculation. The look of someone reaching for the trump card they'd held their whole life. "My father's Judge Vincent Morrison. He owns half this county. He'll bury you." Marcus froze. Everything stopped. The name hit like incoming fire. Vincent Morrison, his older brother. The lieutenant who'd ordered 3rd Platoon into an ambush 56 years ago. The officer Tommy Chen had been investigating for black market medical supply trafficking. The man Tommy was going to report. The man who'd gotten Tommy killed. "Vincent Morrison is your father." "Yeah, so back off, biker trash, before I have you arrested for assault." Marcus released him, stepped back. The shock on his face was naked, undeniable. 56 years collapsed into this moment, into this kid who didn't know his father was a murderer. The diner door opened, 7 years old, 4'2", wearing her father's Marine jacket 5 sizes too big, dog tags hanging around her neck, clinking softly with each step. In her small hands held with the confidence of someone who'd been trained properly, a .38 revolver. Lily Rodriguez walked straight to Marcus's table. Set the gun down, careful, controlled, finger off the trigger, proper grip releasing. Someone had taught her right. Are you Marcus Morrison? Marcus looked down at this child. This tiny, fierce creature wearing her dead father's uniform. Something in his chest cracked open. Something that had been sealed for 38 years. I am. My mom said if anything ever happened to her, find you. She said you are the only man in this town who keeps promises. The words were bullets, each one finding soft tissue. Mom's in the hospital. Detective Blackwell pushed her down the stairs 3 days ago. She already has cancer. 6 months, they said. But now Lily's voice fractured. 7 years old trying to be strong enough for both of them. Now maybe days. Where did you get that gun my dad taught me before Afghanistan? He said someday I might need to protect myself. He said the world wasn't safe for little girls without fathers. Daniel Rodriguez. Marcus remembered him. Young Marine, 26, killed in Kandahar 2 years ago. IED, trying to save his squad. Succeeded. Died doing it. The way good men die. 7 years old talking about survival tactics like other kids talked about cartoons. She started humming. Soft. Unconscious. House of the Rising Sun. The melody drifted through the diner like a ghost. Marcus's blood went cold. That was Emily's song. His daughter. Dead 38 years. 3 years old when the house caught fire. When Marcus was passed out drunk on the couch. When she found matches in the kitchen drawer he'd left open. When the curtains caught. When everything burned. Emily used to hum House of the Rising Sun when she was scared. When the monsters under the bed seemed real. When she needed Daddy to make the world safe. For Daddy let her burn. Dad said children see what soldiers miss. Lily's voice pulled him back. We're small, we're invisible. We notice things adults don't. What things like how you touch that bandana when you're sad? Like how you sit facing the door? Like how you watch everyone? Like how you're scared of something nobody else can see? 7 years old, reading him like a book. Daniel had trained his daughter well. The diner door opened again. Ana Rodriguez stumbled in, hospital gown under her winter coat. IV port still in her arm. Shouldn't be walking. Shouldn't be conscious. The fall down the stairs should have killed her. Still might, just slower now. Lily, you weren't supposed to. She collapsed. Marcus caught her. 70 pounds of nothing. Lighter than his rucksack in Vietnam. Lighter than anything that mattered this much. Someone called Doc Chen. Now, Jack was already on his phone. Anna's eyes found Marcus, urgent, desperate, burning with the last reserves of strength. Detective Blackwell runs the foster system. If I die, Lily goes to Riverside Group Home. You know what happens there. Marcus knew. Everyone in Pinewood knew. Kids went into Riverside. Some came out broken. Some didn't come out at all. The ones who tried to report abuse disappeared. Paperwork said they'd been transferred, relocated. The truth was buried in the desert. Your brother Vincent owns it. Anna's whisper cut through everything. He's been trafficking children for 15 years, using the foster system as a pipeline. I found proof. Been recording him for 3 months. The world tilted sideways. Vincent, his brother. Judge Vincent Morrison, federal judge, pillar of the community. The man their mother had been so proud of. The officer who'd sent Tommy to his death. I couldn't go to the police. He is the police. FBI wouldn't listen. But I got evidence. It's hidden. If I die before I can... Her eyes rolled back. Unconscious. Sirens started. Multiple units. Coming fast. Detective Ryan Blackwell's voice crackled over a loudspeaker. Distorted but unmistakable. Marcus Morrison released the child immediately. You're under arrest for kidnapping. 8 police cars surrounded the diner. Doors opening. Officers taking tactical positions. Weapons drawn. Lily grabbed Marcus's hand, small fingers wrapping around scarred knuckles. Don't let them take me, please. Marcus looked at Jack, looked at his brothers, looked at this 7-year-old girl who reminded him of Emily, who carried her father's courage, who needed someone to keep a promise. He touched the bandana, closed his eyes. Tommy, if you're watching, I need your help on this one. The lights went dark. Chapter 2, The Guardian. Minutes 15 to 30. 10 steel Vipers moved into tactical positions. Spacing, cover, sight lines, military precision born from decades in uniform. Different wars, same training, same refusal to abandon someone who needed protection. Marcus Morrison, you have 60 seconds to release the child and surrender. Blackwell's voice through the loudspeaker. Or we're coming in. Marcus knelt, got down to Lily's eye level, made himself small for this child who needed to be seen, needed to know she mattered. Do you trust me? Mom does. That's good enough. Marcus pulled a thermos from his jacket, twisted the cap. Cinnamon and chocolate drifted out. Hot chocolate. Made it that morning like he did every morning for the past 38 years. Ever since Emily died. Ever since he got sober. Ever since he figured out how to be the man Tommy believed he could be. I'm going to tell you about a little girl I knew once. Her name was Emily. She was 3 years old. She loved hot chocolate with cinnamon. She hummed House of the Rising Sun when she was scared. Lily's eyes widened, recognition settling, understanding she wasn't alone in this. What happened to her? I made mistakes. She died in a house fire. I spent 38 years trying to figure out how to live with that. Still working on it. He poured hot chocolate into the thermos cap, handed it to Lily. She drank. The liquid was still warm, still sweet, still everything Emily had loved. Made this morning. Cinnamon. Just like she liked it. Why do you still make it? Because remembering hurts. But forgetting hurts worse. Lily understood. 7 years old, and she understood. Marcus stood, faced his brothers. We need a plan. They've got 8 units outside. SWAT incoming. We're outgunned, not outmanned. Jack's voice carried certainty. I made some calls. The rumble started. Distant. Growing. The ground shook harder. Windows rattled. The hanging lights swung in wider arcs. 2,000 motorcycles poured into Pinewood. Steel Vipers, Iron Demons, Thunder Road MC, Desert Riders, Road Saints, Warlocks, every major club within 500 miles. They formed a wall between the police and the diner. Leather and chrome and men who'd gone to war and come home and refused to watch children be sacrificed to bureaucracy. The sound was thunder, was judgment, was the cavalry arriving exactly when needed. Blackwell's voice crackled again, more uncertain now. You're surrounded. This doesn't end well for you, depends on your definition of well. Jack spoke toward the door, loud enough to carry. We're protecting a child from a corrupt system. How's that play on the news? Multiple news vans were pulling up. Cameras deploying, going live. This was public now. Witnesses everywhere. That changed calculations. Hank Rivera walked forward through the bikers. 6'5", 250 pounds, covered in tattoos that told stories he never spoke aloud. Tank. They called him Tank because he protected things the way armor protects soldiers. Because once he took a position, he was immovable. He reached the diner, pushed through the door, walked straight to Lily, then knelt. This giant of a man making himself small, making himself safe, showing strength through gentleness instead of force. Hey there, little warrior. His voice came out impossibly gentle. I'm Tank. You know why they call me that? Because you're big, because I protect things. Like tanks protect soldiers in war. You're safe now. 2,000 tanks just showed up for you. Lily started crying. First time she'd allowed herself. First time she'd felt safe enough to be 7 years old instead of a soldier. Your daddy would be proud of how brave you've been. Tank's giant hand enveloped Lily's small one. Rough skin against soft. Protection against innocence. The way it should be. I miss him. He promised he'd come home. He did come home. Just different than planned. He's in your memories. In your courage. In the way you walked in here with a gun and asked for help. That's all him. Movement outside. A woman pushing through the MC formation. Dr. Sarah Chen, 60 years old, hair going gray at the temples. Surgeon's hands, leather jacket over surgical scrubs. She'd been operating. Still had blood spray on her sleeves. Someone's emergency. Someone who'd needed her skills. Marcus saw her. Time stopped. Heart stopped. Everything stopped. Sarah. Hello, Ghost. They hadn't seen each other in 30 years. Not since Emily died. Not since Marcus spiraled into alcoholism. Not since Sarah, Tommy's younger sister, walked away from the wreckage and never looked back. He didn't blame her, didn't forgive himself either. Jack stepped forward. Doc Chen. What are you doing here? Anna Rodriguez is my patient. I'm her oncologist. When she didn't check back in after discharge, I got worried. Tracked her daughter's phone to here. She walked to Marcus. 30 years compressed into 3 feet. They'd been engaged once. Before Vietnam, before Tommy died, before Marcus came home broken, before Emily, before everything fell apart. I heard you sobered up. 37 years clean. Marcus's voice rough. Tommy would be proud. The name hung between them. Tommy Chen, her brother, Marcus's best friend, dead at 19, bleeding out on Hill 472 while Marcus held him and couldn't stop it. Couldn't save him. Couldn't do anything except make a promise. I need to tell you something. Sarah's voice steady. Something I should have said 3 decades ago. Now might not be the time. It's exactly the time. She pulled a photograph from her jacket, handed it to Marcus. Tommy, Marcus, and me. Summer of '68. Before deployment. Before everything. Marcus took the photo. 3 people who'd believed the world made sense. Who'd thought courage and honor and friendship could protect you. Who'd been wrong. I came back to Pinewood 6 months ago for one reason. To tell you I forgive you. For Emily, for the drinking, for 30 years of running from grief, for all of it. Marcus couldn't speak. 30 years of guilt, 30 years of believing he deserved nothing, 30 years of Sarah's absence feeling like justice. Tommy made me promise something before he deployed. Sarah continued. He said if anything happened to him, I had to watch over you, make sure you didn't destroy yourself. When I left, I broke that promise. Took me 30 years to realize grief makes us cruel to people we love. I'm done being cruel. She touched his hand. The contact electric, familiar, impossible. Tommy would want you to fight, not for revenge, for what he believed in, protecting people who can't protect themselves. The past crashed into present. Tommy's face, 19 years old, dying, blood everywhere, the smell of copper and cordite, the heat of Vietnam, the weight of promises. The memory rose vivid now. Full detail. Couldn't stop it. Didn't want to. Vietnam, November 1969. Hill 472. 3rd Platoon on patrol. Marcus was 20, baby-faced despite 6 months in country. Still believed the war had a point. Tommy Chen was 19, combat medic, always joking, especially when bullets flew. Humor was armor against fear. They walked through jungle, green and wet and full of death, waiting. What you gonna do when we get home? Ghost Tommy asked while checking Marcus's rifle, making sure the bolt was clean, magazine seated, taking care of people. That's what Tommy did. Get married, have kids. Normal stuff. Normal ain't for guys like us. Tommy's smile sat around the edges. We've seen too much. Then I'll make a new normal. Give my kids what I didn't have. If I don't make it, don't talk like that. Promise me. Tommy's serious now. Promise me you'll be the man I can't be. You'll take care of people who can't fight back. You'll live better than I died. The radio crackled. Lieutenant Vincent Morrison, 24 years old. Officer. Cold. Calculating. Marcus's older brother, but they'd never been close. Vincent was career, ambition, politics, everything Marcus wasn't. 3rd Platoon advanced to grid Alpha 7. That's an order. Marcus keyed his mic. Sir, we're exposed on that approach. Perfect ambush position. Request alternate route. Request denied. Advance now. Corporal. Tommy met Marcus's eyes. Both knew. Both understood. This was wrong. But orders were orders. They advanced. The ambush came exactly when Marcus said it would. VC hidden in the tree line. Perfect kill zone. 3rd Platoon walked right into it. Tommy took the first round. Abdomen, then the second. Femoral artery, blood fountaining, too much blood. Impossible to stop. Marcus dragged him to cover. Applied pressure. Screamed for more medics. But Tommy was the medic. Who saves the man who saves everyone? It took 17 minutes for Tommy to die. The morphine kicked in at minute 15. 2 minutes apiece before the end. Ghost. Tommy's voice wet, lungs filling. This wasn't accident. Vincent knew. Found out I was reporting him. Black market. Medical supplies. He set this up. No, Marcus couldn't accept it. Vincent's your lieutenant, our lieutenant. He's dirty. And now I'm dead because I found out. Tommy gripped Marcus's hand. Promise me, you'll live. You'll be better. You'll protect people. Promise, I promise, tears streaming. I promise, Tommy. Not your fault. Tommy's last words. His. Promise. He died at 13:47 hours, November 17th, 1969. 19 years old. Marcus took the red bandana from Tommy's arm, soaked with blood, still warm, wrapped it around his own arm, made the promise real, made it permanent, carried it for 56 years, back to present. The diner. Marcus opened his eyes, Sarah watching, Lily watching, knowing he'd gone somewhere. What's that bandana, Lily asked. You touch it when you're sad. It belonged to the bravest man I ever knew. Your age when he died, 19, saved my life twice, made me promise to protect people. I've been trying to keep that promise ever since. Were you good at keeping it? No, not for a long time, but I'm getting better. Hammer's phone buzzed, again. He checked it. Quick glance, but Marcus saw the expression. Something wrong, something off, no time to process. The standoff continued. Jack made the decision. Blackwell, you want Morrison? You go through all of us, 2,000 and counting. There was a long silence. Then different voice over radio. Captain Richard Burke, 45. Vincent's man, everyone knew it. You're committing felony obstruction. This will end badly. Already has. Jack's voice carried weight. Question is how much worse it gets. The news crews were setting up, going live. The story spreading, social media exploding. Within minutes, half the country would be watching. Vincent Morrison had built his empire in shadows. Shadows were burning away. Marcus held on him, still unconscious, barely breathing. Sarah checked vitals. She needs hospital. Now, or she dies here. Blackwell's voice. Send her out, we will take her, with you. So Vincent can finish what you started. I didn't want Blackwell's voice cracked. He has my daughter, Emma, 8 years old, leukemia. Vincent controls her treatment. He stopped payment, she dies. He made me push Anna, made me do all of it. The confession poured through the loudspeaker. Broadcast live, recorded by every news crew. Everything changed. You're a hostage too. Marcus spoke toward the door. Your daughter's at Riverside, yes. Then we're getting her out. All of them, today. The plan formed. Rapid, military, everyone moving into position. But first they needed to save Anna. Tank picked her up, gentle despite his size. 10 bikers formed escort, Sarah's truck in the middle. They'd run the blockade, get her to hospital. Dare Burke to stop them on live television. Lily watched her mother carried away. 7 years old watching everything she had leave. She'll fight, she's strong, Marcus's voice steady. Like you. What if she doesn't make it? Then you've got 2,000 fathers who'll make sure you're okay. That doesn't make sense. It does in our world. The escort moved, bikes roaring. Burke's men tried to stop them, but cameras everywhere. They let them through. Anna was safe for now. Marcus looked at Lily, at this 7-year-old wearing her father's jacket. Tommy's promise finally clear. This is what I was supposed to do all along. This is why Tommy died. So I'd understand. So I'd be here. For you. Lily hugged him, small arms around his waist. 7 years old, trusting completely. The diner door burst open. Vincent Morrison walked in. 80 years old, but looked 60. Distinguished. Powerful. Federal judge's robes over expensive suit. Behind him, 20 men. Mix of police and private security. Scorpion King's MC Vincent's bought and paid for club. Hello, brother. Vincent's voice cold. Been a long time, not long enough. They faced each other. 56 years of distance. 56 years of lies. 56 years of Vincent building an empire in Tommy's grave. You really want to do this? And we're in front of cameras. Vincent gestured outside. Ruin both our lives over one foster kid. Not one kid. 23. And yes, you always were stupid. Tommy was stupid too. Both of you, thinking honor mattered, thinking courage meant something. Tommy died because of you. Vincent smiled. Tommy died because he was weak. Found out about my business, threatened to report me. I couldn't allow that. So I ordered 3rd Platoon into an ambush. Problem solved. The confession. Casual. Careless. Broadcast live to the world. Vincent didn't notice the cameras, didn't realize his words were being recorded, didn't understand he'd just destroyed himself. But Marcus heard, and something in him broke free. 56 years of guilt. 56 years of thinking he'd failed. 56 years of carrying Tommy's death. It wasn't his fault, it was murder. You killed him, my best friend, your own ma, and for money, for survival, Vincent's voice matter of fact, for building something that mattered. Tommy was collateral damage, like you would have been, like this girl will be if you don't surrender. He reached for Lily. Marcus moved, 76 years old. Arthritis, cracked vertebrae, lower back pain. None of it mattered. Just training, just muscle memory, just pure protective instinct. Caught Vincent's wrist, twisted, dropped him. You don't touch her. Ever. The cops moved. The bikers moved. 2,000 on one side, 20 on the other. About to become a bloodbath. Wait. Lily's voice, small but clear. I have something. She pulled a USB drive from her pocket. Mom said this has everything. Everything Judge Morrison did. Financial records, video, audio, names, all of it. 3 months of evidence. She said if anything happened to her, give it to the news. Lily walked to the nearest camera crew, handed them the drive. My mom said the truth matters more than being scared. The reporter took it, started uploading. 30 seconds later, files spreading across the internet. Unstoppable. Vincent's face changed, understanding, horror, rage. You little bitch. He lunged for Lily. Marcus blocked him. Took the impact. They went down together, 76 and 80, 2 old men fighting. But Marcus had been fighting his whole life. Vincent had been giving orders. It was over in seconds. Marcus on top, Vincent subdued. FBI agents arrived, real ones, uncorrupted, responding to the uploaded files. Judge Vincent Morrison, you're under arrest. The list of charges took 3 minutes to read. Vincent looked at Marcus, hate in his eyes. You should have let it go. Should have stayed drunk. Should have died like Tommy. I tried. But Tommy asked me to live better. Took me 56 years. But I got there. Vincent was led away, the empire crumbling in real time. The diner emptied. Just Marcus and Lily in the aftermath. She looked up at him. Are you really my father now? DNA doesn't make fathers. Promises do. And I promise I'll protect you for as long as you need me. Lily hugged him again, tighter this time. Dad would have liked you. I think I would have liked him too. Outside, 2,000 bikers waited. The sun was setting. The day was ending. But something new was beginning. Marcus touched the bandana. Tommy's blood. 56 years of carrying it. 56 years of trying to keep a promise. Finally, Ghost. Finally, you got it right. Tommy's voice. Or maybe just memory. Didn't matter. The promise was kept. Vincent Morrison commanded the space between worlds. Federal judges' robes draped over tactical body armor. The contradiction would have been absurd if not for the 100 Scorpion Kings flanking him. Behind Marcus, 2,000 Steel Vipers held formation. In the middle, Lily Rodriguez wore Tommy Chen's blood on her arm. 42 years ago, my little brother and I both went to Vietnam. Vincent's courtroom voice carried across asphalt and tension. I came back, built a career, served my country from the bench. He came back broken, spent decades drunk, let his daughter burn to death while he slept it off. The words landed like artillery, public opinion shifting, news cameras recording, Vincent spinning the narrative the way he'd been spinning it for decades. Marcus felt the eyes, the judgment. They didn't know Vincent had murdered Tommy, didn't know the empire was built on 23 trafficked children, didn't know anything except what they saw, distinguished judge versus biker with a record. But I'm reasonable. Vincent stepped closer, calculated. Ana Rodriguez receives the finest medical care available. Experimental treatments. She might survive her cancer. Might watch her daughter grow up. Hope flickered across Lily's face. 7 years old, desperate to believe. One condition. Marcus surrenders. And you, child, come with me. Foster care. Proper upbringing. Not with these criminals. Chris Hammer Brooks moved forward from the Steel Vipers formation. 58 years old, vice president, Reaper's closest friend for 2 decades, solid, reliable, the kind of man who'd take a bullet for his brothers. Ghost, we should consider it. Hammer's voice careful. For Anna's sake. For the kid. Something flickered in Reaper's eyes. Brief, then gone. He'd known Hammer since Desert Storm, trusted him with his life. But that flicker said maybe trust had limits. Marcus caught it, Vietnam instincts activating. Something off, couldn't identify what, just a feeling in the gut that said danger close. Detective Ryan Blackwell pushed through the police line before Marcus could process. 44 years old, but looking 60. Desperation aged a man faster than time. Take the deal. Blackwell's whisper meant only for Marcus. Vincent has my daughter, Emma, 8 years old, leukemia. He controls her treatment. I pushed Anna down those stairs because he threatened to stop Emma's chemotherapy. Marcus saw himself reflected. 2 fathers, 2 daughters, both trapped in Vincent's web. Where is she? Riverside Group Home. Vincent keeps the sick kids there. Leverage against parents. I traffic children so mine can live. That's what he does. Finds your weakness, exploits it until you're drowning. Blackwell's confession poured out. 2 years of evil acts, each one to save Emma, each one destroying him piece by piece. He made me into a monster so my daughter could breathe. The weight of it settled. Vincent didn't just traffic kids. He weaponized parenthood, turned love into a chain. Ben Walsh stepped forward. 67 years old, preacher, white beard, calm in chaos. He'd been chaplain in Vietnam, seen evil, learned to name it. Vincent, you and Marcus share blood. His voice carried weight. But you're not brothers. A brother doesn't murder his friend for profit, doesn't traffic children, doesn't weaponize cancer against a desperate father. He gestured at 2,000 bikers. These men showed up today. That makes them family. Choice, not genetics. The words landed different than repetition. Fresh phrasing, same truth. Sarah Chen pushed through, still wearing surgical scrubs. Blood spray across fabric. Fresh from saving Anna's life. Anna's stable. For now, I performed emergency surgery in the ambulance. Bought 12 hours. Maybe more. Vincent's leverage evaporated. The calculation failed. Impossible. She was hemorrhaging. I'm a trauma surgeon. Learned in Desert Storm, bombs don't wait for proper operating rooms. Neither did I. She walked to Marcus. 30 years compressed into 3 feet of space. Handed him a photograph. Tommy, Marcus, and Sarah. 1968. Before war. Before death. Before everything collapsed. I came back to Pinewood 6 months ago to tell you something. Her voice steady. I forgive you. For Emily. For the drinking. For disappearing into guilt for 30 years. Marcus couldn't speak, just held the photo. 3 people who'd believed the world made sense. Tommy asked me to watch over you if he didn't make it home. When I left you, I failed him. Took 3 decades to understand grief makes us cruel. I'm done being cruel. She touched his scarred hand. Tommy would want you to fight, not for revenge, for what he believed, protecting people who can't protect themselves. Marcus looked at Lily, at Emma somewhere in Riverside dying of leukemia, at 21 other kids trapped in Vincent's system, at Tommy's blood on Lily's arm. Your deal is refused, his voice carried. We're going to Riverside, getting Blackwell's daughter, getting all 23 kids, ending this. Vincent's mask cracked. Fury breaking through polish. You'll start a war. You started it 42 years ago when you murdered Tommy. I'm finishing it. Reaper assembled leadership, military briefing, tactical precision, Team Alpha, Ghost Tank Wire Lily, Riverside Rescue, Team Bravo, Doc Chen Blackwell Preacher, Hospital, Protect Anna, Team Charlie, Reaper Hammer 1000 MCs, Desert Warehouse, Find the Bodies, Team Delta, Tech Support, Hack Vincent Systems, Freeze Assets, Simultaneous Operations, Overwhelming Force. Hammer checked his phone. Quick, subtle. Most wouldn't notice. Marcus noticed. That flicker of wrong amplified. No time to analyze. They moved. Reaper and 1,000 bikes headed east, 80 miles into desert. Coordinates from Anna's files, where Vincent buried his mistakes. The warehouse was rust and secrets, corrugated steel, no windows. Industrial freezer inside humming against desert heat. They broke the lock. The door swung wide. 3 bodies, children, preserved by cold, wearing Riverside uniforms. Michael Torres, 8. Jessica Chen, 10. David Washington, 12. Names on tags. Lives ended. Vincent's collateral damage. Lord have mercy. Preacher's voice over radio. Reaper keyed his mic. Ghost, we found them. 3 kids, exactly like Anna documented. Evidence secured. Proof Vincent's empire had a body count. Not just trafficking, murder. But Hammer stood apart. Phone out again. Texting, Reaper saw it this time. 30 years of friendship suddenly suspect. Who are you texting? Hammer looked up. Caught. Just updating the other chapters. Keeping them informed. The lie was smooth, too smooth. Reaper filed it away. Trust but verify. Desert Storm taught that. Sarah worked on Anna in ICU. Hands steady despite Anna's life measured in hours. Despite knowing this woman had trusted Marcus with her daughter. Despite everything. Anna's eyes open. Brief consciousness. Is Lily safe? Marcus has her. Tell her. Daniel would be proud. Tell her I love the monitor screamed. Flatline. Anna's heart stopping. No. Sarah grabbed the paddles. Charging, not on my watch. Clear. Anna's body arched. Shock delivered. Heart rhythm returned. Weak but present. Fighting. In Marcus's truck racing toward Riverside, Lily heard everything through her earpiece. Her mother coding. The paddles. The fight for life. Mom. Whispered. 7 years old watching her world end over radio. She's a fighter. Like you. Marcus's voice steady. Combat calm. Keep moving forward. Complete the mission. Process later. Lily started humming. House of the Rising Sun. Daniel Rodriguez's song. Comfort in melody. Vincent's voice crackled over police frequencies. Someone left a channel open. Alex recording every word. Execute contingency Phoenix. Burn Riverside. Kill everyone inside. No witnesses. The Scorpion Kings mobilized. 100 bikes screaming toward the group home. Marcus, Tank, Alex, and Lily arrived first. The building already burned. Flames 40 feet high. Black smoke visible for miles. Children screaming from inside. Scorpion Kings surrounding the perimeter. Blocking exits. Vincent's orders clear, let it burn. Reaper massive fire at Riverside, 23 kids trapped. Vincent's men preventing escape. Copy. Inbound. ETA 10 minutes. 10 minutes too long. Those kids had 2. Marcus shifted. Soldier mode. The Marine who'd survived Da Nang. The warrior Tommy believed in. Tank breach left. Wire disabled their bikes. Lily, you stay, I can help. Her voice firm. I'm small. Can reach places you can't. Kids trust kids. 7 years old delivering tactical assessment. Marcus looked at this child wearing her father's courage. Tommy's promise. Something bigger than fear. Your father trained you for this, to Tank protect her with your life. On my honor. Tank crashed through Scorpion Kings like a freight train. 250 pounds of controlled violence. Marcus fought with Vietnam precision. Muscle memory, 42 years old but sharp. Alex disabled motorcycles with EMPs. Electronics warfare. Lily crawled through a basement window, small enough to fit where adults couldn't. Inside smoke thick as soup. Children huddled, ages 3 to 17. Terrified. I'm Lily, my dad was a Marine. In fires you stay low. Follow me. A teenager 13 looked doubtful. Why trust you? Because I'm 7 and I'm here. Because your life matters to me. Because we help each other. That's what kids do. Wisdom beyond years. They followed. 15 kids crawling through smoke. Lily leading. Daniel's daughter. Detective Blackwell arrived. Saw flames. Saw his daughter Emma in a second-floor window. 8 years old. Bald from chemotherapy. Surrounded by fire. Scorpion Kings recognized him. Detective, judge's orders. Nobody leaves. Blackwell looked at Emma. Looked at his badge. Looked at Marcus fighting to save children. 24 months I've been a coward. 24 months of choosing survival over what's right. He dropped his badge, drew his weapon. My daughter's in there. Judge said no exceptions. Then watch me make one. Shot the Scorpion leader. Shoulder, non-lethal but definitive. Morrison, Emma's second floor east. I'm coming in. Blackwell structures failing. Been failing for 2 years. Time I stood for something, he ran into fire. Redemption through smoke and flames. Inside Riverside, 3 teams operated. Lily leading basement, kids out. Marcus evacuating ground floor. Blackwell climbing stairs toward Emma. East stairwell collapsed behind him. Trapped on second floor with his daughter. I've got Emma, but we're cut off. Can you reach a window? Yeah. 30-foot drop. Tank's voice from outside. I'll catch her. Blackwell knelt to Emma's eye level. Father to daughter. Final moment. Baby, there's a man outside. Big. Gentle. Named Tank. He'll catch you. Trust him. What about you? I'm right behind you. The lie fathers tell when they know the truth. Emma jumped. Tank caught her. 250 pounds of biker cradling, 8 pounds of girl. Infinite gentleness. Kneeling giant. Got you, little warrior. Blackwell prepared to jump. The ceiling collapsed. Burning wood and plaster, he disappeared into flame and rubble. All 23 kids evacuated. Blackwell's body recovered. Emma sobbing but alive. The building a skeleton of fire. Impressive brother, Vincent's voice over loudspeaker. But you've changed nothing. I have judges, senators, police chiefs. This ends with you in prison, me walking free. Marcus saw news helicopters, cameras everywhere. Recording. You're wrong. Alex had been hacking for 40 minutes, fingers flying across keyboards, breaking into Vincent's network. Every file, every record, 15 years of evidence. Ghost, I've got everything. Financial records, every politician he owns, evidence on 87 trafficked children internationally. Uploading now. Vincent's face changed, understanding flooding in. Uploading where everywhere. FBI, DOJ, New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, every major outlet. WikiLeaks, the entire internet. In 42 minutes, Vincent's empire would be public. Irreversible. You can't. It's done. Tommy waited 42 years for justice. Today he gets it. Vincent appeared in person. No longer just voice. Tactical gear over judges' robes. Armed. 20 Scorpion Kings flanking. If I'm going down, everyone goes. He aimed at Marcus. Center mass. Lily stepped between them. 7 years old. Tommy's bandana on her arm. Her father's 38 in her hands. No. Move, child. You killed Marcus's friend. You hurt my mom. You hurt 23 kids. You made Detective Blackwell into a monster. But you're done hurting people. Or what my dad taught me to be braver than bad men expect. Marcus stepped beside her. Tommy Chen believed people could be better. He died believing I could be better. Took me 52 years to prove him right. Vincent, you won't shoot your own brother. No, but circumstances demand bravery. Vincent shifted aim. At Lily, not Marcus. The child dies first. Everything slowed. Marcus saw the trajectory, saw Vincent's finger tightening, saw Lily in the path. Didn't think, just moved. Pushed Lily aside, shield with his body. The shot rang out. Marcus took its center chest. The impact, like being hit by a car, knocked him backward. Fell. Time stopped. Marcus Lily screamed, tore the air. No Sarah running from truck ghost tank caught Marcus before he hit pavement, lowered him gentle, blood spreading crimson on leather, soaking Tommy's bandana. 42 years of carrying guilt, now bleeding out. Marcus's eyes found Lily. I promised. I'd protect you. Voice wet, lungs filling, drowning on land. Don't leave me. Please, Lily crying. 7 years old, losing another father. Marcus touched the bandana on her arm. Tommy's blood meeting his. Tommy. I kept it. Finally. Eyes closing, pain fading. Maybe this was right. Tommy died at 19. Marcus got 53 extra years. Time to balance the books. Sarah arrived, hands already working, pressure on wound, checking pulse. He's got a pulse. Bullet misses heart by 2 inches. Collapsed lung. Internal bleeding. But alive. To tank move. I need to operate now. Lily still held Marcus's hand, refusing to let go. Stay with me. Please stay. Marcus's eyes opened. Found hers. Not done yet. Little warrior. FBI tactical team arrived. Real agents, uncorrupted, responding to Alex's uploads. Judge Vincent Morrison, you're under arrest for human trafficking, murder corruption, conspiracy to commit murder racketeering. The list went on. Decades of crime, all cataloged, all uploaded, all public. Vincent looked at Marcus being loaded into ambulance, at Lily refusing to leave his side, at his empire crumbling in real time. You always were stubborn, only about promises. Marcus's voice faint but present. Vincent was led away in chains, Judge's robes stripped, just another criminal now. But Marcus's world narrowed to pain and Lily's small hand gripping his. Sarah operated in the ambulance. No proper OR, just skill and determination. Extracting the bullet, repairing the damage, keeping him alive through sheer will. Lily sat beside Marcus's head, talking to keep him conscious. You're going to be okay. You promised to teach me about bikes, about being strong, you promised. Marcus's smile was blood-stained. Going to take more than one bullet to break that promise. The ambulance screamed toward the hospital. Sarah's hand steady, Lily's voice steady, Marcus's heart beating. Kept Tommy's promise. Took 52 years, but kept it. 3 hours of surgery. Sarah worked with hospital staff, repaired the damage, extracted bullet fragments, cleared the collapsed lung, closed him up. Marcus survived. Barely, but survived. He woke in recovery, Lily asleep in chair beside him, refused to leave. 7 years old standing guard. Sarah stood at the door, exhausted, blood on her scrubs, but smiling. You're an idiot, stepping in front of bullets. He tried to laugh. Pain stopped it. Seemed like the thing to do. Tommy would be proud and furious in equal measure. Marcus looked at Lily sleeping, at the bandana still on her arm, at proof that promises kept late still counted. DNA results came back while he recovered. 99.9% match. Biological confirmation of what they already knew. But Marcus told them to hold the envelope. Didn't matter. He'd already made his choice. The bullet proved it. Biology was just paperwork. Anna stabilized in ICU. Sarah's surgery bought her time. Experimental treatments began. Vincent seized assets funding them. Poetic justice. Emma placed with Sarah temporarily. Blackwell's daughter orphaned but not alone. 8 years old. Cancer in remission. Living because her father chose redemption. Chris Hammer Brooks was arrested the next day. Alex found encrypted messages. 5 years of feeding Vincent information. Not a Scorpion King. A steel viper who'd betrayed everything. Reaper sat in the interrogation room, faced his best friend of 20 years. Why Hammer looked at his hands. Vincent had leverage. My son, drug charges, threatened to make them federal. Life sentence. I chose my kid over the club. Reaper's voice was broken. You could have told me. We help each other. That's what brotherhood means. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring back trust. Hammer was charged as accomplice. 20 years minimum. Friendship ended in betrayal. The price of choosing wrong. Marcus spent 5 days in hospital. Lily visited every day. Anna wheeled in once stable enough. Emma came with Sarah. 4 people who'd been strangers. Now family. On day 5, Marcus could sit up without agony. Lily brought the red bandana. Washed clean of blood. His and Tommy's mixed. This belongs to you. No, it belongs to Tommy's promise. You carry it now. She tied it back on her arm. When you're healed, you'll teach me to ride every day. Promise. They were released together. Anna with months of treatment ahead. Marcus with months of physical therapy. Both alive against odds. The Steel Vipers gathered at the clubhouse. 2,000 strong. -1. Hammer's patch stripped. Name erased. Betrayal cost everything. Reaper stood at podium. 68 years old. Carrying new scars. We lost a brother to greed. We almost lost Ghost to courage. We found our purpose again, protecting people who can't protect themselves. He looked at Marcus, arm in sling, moving slow but standing. Ghost showed us what it means to keep promises, even ones 52 years overdue. The club erupted, engines revving, thunder of approval. Marcus touched his chest, felt the scar through fabric. Bullet had missed his heart by inches. Tommy's luck, maybe, or just stubborn refusal to die before the promise was kept. That night, small gathering. Marcus, Sarah, Anna, Lily, Emma. 5 people thrown together by crisis, choosing to stay together by love. Anna spoke first. "You took a bullet from my daughter." Marcus shook his head. "I kept a promise to my friend. That's all. That's everything." They ate together, talked about futures, Anna's treatment plan, Lily's school, Emma's recovery, Marcus's physical therapy, Sarah's work. Normal things, after extraordinary circumstances. That's what survival looked like. Moving forward. Later, Marcus and Sarah sat on her porch. Montana autumn cold, stars sharp overhead. "You almost died. Been close before. This time was worth it." Tommy would agree. She leaned against him, careful of injuries. "And Marcus, I'm staying. Permanently. No more running," his arm around her shoulders. 53 years of life. 30 of them wasted. 23 rebuilding. 5 days of almost dying, all leading here. Good. Because I'm done being alone. You've got 2,000 brothers, hardly alone, different kind of alone. She understood, kissed him gentle, promise of rebuilding what fire had destroyed 30 years ago. The future stretched uncertain. Anna's cancer, Emma's recovery, Lily's childhood, Marcus's healing, Vincent's trial, Hammer's betrayal, all of it unfolding. But tonight they had this. 5 people who'd survived, who'd chosen each other, who'd learned showing up mattered more than genetics. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Tonight brought peace. And sometimes that was enough. 10 years feels like a lifetime when you're 7. 10 years is nothing when you're 62 and counting the days you wasted. Marcus Morrison understood both truths as he sat in the federal courthouse watching his brother get sentenced. Vincent Morrison stood in orange jumpsuit and chains. The judge's robes were gone. The power was gone. All that remained was an old man facing the consequences of 42 years of calculated cruelty. Life without possibility of parole. The judge's gavel came down with finality. Vincent turned, locked eyes with Marcus across the courtroom. No words. What was there to say? One brother built an empire on murder. The other spent decades trying to atone for failing to see it. Outside the courthouse, news crews swarmed. Marcus pushed through without comment. Lily waited by his motorcycle. 9 years old now, 2 years since the fire. Wearing her father's jacket still, though she'd grown into it some. The red bandana stayed on her arm. Tommy's blood faded to brown, but the promise remained vivid. "You okay?" Marcus nodded. Couldn't speak yet. Watching Vincent led away in chains should have felt like victory. Mostly felt like waste. 2 lives, 2 wars, 2 completely different choices about what happened after. "Mom says you're coming to dinner." "I am. She made tamales. The good ones. Then I better not be late." They rode together. Marcus had built Lily a custom bike. Small enough for her size but real. Not a toy. She handled it with her father's precision. Daniel Rodriguez would have been proud. Anna's apartment was different now. Bigger. Medical bills paid by Vincent's seized assets. She'd quit waitressing. Worked at the community center full-time, helping other families navigate the system, making sure what happened to her didn't happen to others. Sarah was already there. She and Marcus weren't married. Not yet. But she'd moved back to Pinewood permanently. Bought a house 2 blocks from Anna. Emma lived with her. Blackwell's daughter was 10 now. Hair grown back, leukemia in remission. Thriving despite losing her father. Or maybe because of how he died. Redemption counted for something. The dinner was loud, full. 2 families that hadn't existed 3 years ago. Emma and Lily acting like sisters. Anna and Sarah cooking together. Marcus sitting at the table feeling something he hadn't felt since Emily died. Home. After dinner, after the dishes, after Emma and Lily went to bed, the adults sat on Aunt's balcony, Montana autumn cold enough to see breath, stars sharp overhead. The trial's over. Anna's voice quiet. What happens now? Now we keep showing up. Marcus's answer was simple because the truth was simple. Promises don't end. They just keep going until you stop keeping them. Sarah leaned against him. Contact they'd rebuilt slowly over 2 years. Trust earned back inch by inch. Tommy would be proud. The name still hurt. Always would. But different now. Not guilt. Grief, yes, but also gratitude. Tommy's death had given Marcus a purpose. Taken 42 years to fulfill it, but better late than never. I think about Daniel too. Anna looking at the stars. What he'd say about all this. He'd say his daughter is exactly who he raised her to be. Lily's voice came from the doorway. Small, but steady. She was supposed to be asleep, but nobody called her on it. Dad used to say the uniform doesn't make you a man. What you do after the shooting stops does. She'd said it before. That day at the diner. But hearing it again, Marcus understood differently. Daniel Rodriguez had known he might not come home from Afghanistan, had prepared his daughter, taught her to shoot, to think, to survive, but also on her what mattered, not the weapon, the choice about when to use it. Your dad was a good man. He would have liked you. 7 words from a 9-year-old that hit harder than anything Vincent had said in court. Time passed the way it does when you're paying attention. Not racing by, not dragging, just moving forward one day at a time. Marcus taught Lily to ride properly, not just steering, but maintaining the bike, changing oil, adjusting chains. Understanding the machine was an extension of yourself, respecting it. Tank taught her to fight, real fighting, not violence for violence sake, but how to protect herself, how to end conflicts without escalating, how to be small and use it as advantage. Alex taught her computers, hacking but ethical, how to find information, how to protect privacy, how to use technology as a tool for justice instead of control. Preacher taught her philosophy, the difference between revenge and justice, the importance of forgiveness without forgetting, the way forward after trauma. She absorbed it all, became something Marcus had never seen. A child raised by a community, not one father but 23, each teaching what they knew best, each giving what they had. Emma learned too. Different lessons. Medical knowledge from Sarah. How to advocate for yourself. How to survive cancer and come out stronger. How to honor a complicated father who'd done terrible things but died trying to be better. The community center opened 18 months after the fire, built on the ruins of Riverside Group Home. Funded by Vincent's seized assets and donations from MCs across the country. The news coverage had made Steel Vipers famous. Bikers showing up for kids. The stereotype broken, the truth more powerful. Marcus stood at the dedication, microphone in hand, 2,000 bikers present, news cameras rolling. But he wasn't looking at them, looking at the wall behind the stage. 47 photos, the rescued kids, all placed in loving homes, all thriving, proof that the system could work when people refused to look away. Below the photos, 3 names engraved in brass: Michael Torres, Jessica Chen, David Washington. The 3 kids from the warehouse, the ones they'd been too late to save. The ones who died so others might live. And below those, one more name: Ryan Blackwell, detective, father, complicated man who'd made terrible choices and one final good one. This center stands where children were hurt. Marcus's voice steady despite emotion. Now it's where children are healed, because 2,000 bikers decided showing up matters more than looking away. Lily stood next to him, 11 years old now, 4 years since the diner, wearing Steel Vipers colors, honorary member, protected princess, her patch read. But she wasn't a princess. She was a warrior who'd saved herself and her mother and helped save 46 others. My dad died in Afghanistan fighting for people he'd never meet. Her voice clear despite her size. Marcus fights every day for kids he does meet. Both are heroes. Both understood what my dad taught me. The uniform doesn't make you a man. What you do after the shooting stops does. The crowd erupted, 2,000 engines revving in approval. The sound of thunder, the sound of family. Sarah found Marcus after the ceremony, 5 years since they'd reconnected. She wore a ring now, simple silver band. They'd gotten married 6 months ago, small ceremony. Just family, Anna and Lily, Emma, the Steel Vipers, the people who mattered. You did good today. We did good. Correction accepted. They'd rebuilt this together. Not just their relationship, the whole community. Proof that broken things could be fixed if you put in the work. That night, lying in bed, Sarah's head on his chest, Marcus allowed himself to think about Emily. 40 years dead, would have been 53 now, maybe a grandmother, maybe teaching her own kids to be brave. The grief didn't go away, never would, but it transformed, became fuel instead of weight. Every kid they helped was Emily's legacy too, her death meaning something beyond waste. You're thinking about her. Sarah knew him too well, always had. Yeah, she'd be proud of you, maybe. Or maybe she'd wonder why it took 40 years. Grief makes us cruel to people we love. Sarah's earlier words, including ourselves. You're allowed to forgive yourself, Marcus. That was harder than forgiving Vincent, harder than anything. Time continued forward, years stacking like poker chips, each one different but part of the same game. Lily turned 14, high school, straight A student, captain of debate team, but also rode her bike to school every day. Leather jacket with Steel Vipers patch. The contradiction was the point. Smart didn't mean soft. Protected didn't mean helpless. Emma was 15, wanted to be a surgeon like Sarah, volunteered at the hospital, helped other kids with cancer, turned her survival into service. Anna ran the community center. It had expanded. 3 buildings now, youth programs, job training, counseling, a pipeline keeping kids out of the system that had almost destroyed Lily. Marcus was 67, gray beard now completely white, the scar on his cheek deeper, but still riding, still showing up, still keeping Tommy's promise one day at a time. The Steel Vipers had changed too, not just motorcycle club anymore, community organization. They ran after-school programs, mentored at-risk youth, provided security for women's shelters, proof that warriors could build instead of destroy. Reaper retired as president at 73, passed the gavel to Marcus. Fitting. The man who'd spent 40 years running from responsibility, now leading 2,000 riders toward purpose. Tank was 70, still the gentlest giant Marcus had ever met, taught self-defense to teenagers, showed them strength wasn't about violence, about control, about protecting others. Preacher was 72, still the moral compass, still reminding them why they rode. Not for glory, not for reputation, for the kids who needed someone to show up. Alex was 63, still hacking, but working with FBI now, consultant, helping track trafficking rings, shutting them down before kids disappeared, prevention instead of rescue. Sarah was 65, still operating, but also teaching, training the next generation of trauma surgeons, showing them medicine was about more than technique, about seeing patients as people. On the 10-year anniversary of the fire, they gathered at the community center. All 47 rescued kids, now teenagers and young adults. Living proof that intervention worked, that showing up mattered. Marcus stood at the podium, 72 years old, white beard, deep scars, but still standing, still riding. 10 years ago, a 7-year-old girl walked into a diner holding a gun and asking for help. Lily stood beside him. 17 now, beautiful, strong. Her father's courage and her mother's wisdom combined. She taught us something we'd forgotten. That courage isn't not being scared. It's being scared and riding anyway. The audience listened. Kids who'd been saved. Parents who'd thought their children were lost. MCs from across the country. Media documenting. But Marcus wasn't performing. Telling truth. Tommy Chen died 48 years ago in Vietnam, asking me to protect people who couldn't protect themselves. I broke that promise for 38 years. Then Lily gave me a chance to keep it. He touched his arm. New red bandana. Lily's original was framed on the wall inside. Behind glass. Sacred. Some promises take a lifetime. These took 48 years, but brotherhood never expires. Lily took the microphone. Marcus stepped back, letting her speak, letting the next generation lead. I'm 17. In 3 months, I leave for West Point, following my father's footsteps. But I'm not going to war. I'm learning how to prevent wars, how to protect people before they need saving. Pride radiated from Anna in the front row, her daughter, the little girl who'd survived cancer and trafficking and fire, going to West Point, becoming everything Daniel Rodriguez had hoped for. This community center exists because Marcus Morrison decided one girl mattered. Lily's voice strong, because 2,000 bikers decided showing up was more important than riding away. Because my mom recorded evidence for 3 months knowing it might get her killed. Because Detective Blackwell chose redemption over cowardice. Because Dr. Sarah Chen came back to forgive the man she'd left. Because Tank caught me when I jumped from a burning building. Because Alex hacked systems and Alex exposed evil. Because Preacher reminded us what we fought for. She paused, emotion cracking through. Blood doesn't make family. Showing up does. You all showed up. For me. For Emma. For 45 other kids. For every kid since. That's what heroes do. They show up. The applause was thunder. 2,000 people standing. Proof that cynicism was wrong. That good people existed. That warriors could heal. After the ceremony, Marcus walked the memorial wall. 47 faces. All grown now. All thriving. Below them, the 3 who hadn't survived. And Blackwell. Complicated man who'd earned his place among the honored dead. Lily joined him. They stood in silence, remembering. You're proud of me every day, even when I'm stubborn, especially then. You get that from your mom, and your dad, and maybe a little from me. She leaned against him, still small despite being 17, but strong, capable, exactly who she needed to be. When I'm at West Point, will you write every week? Will you visit? Marcus smiled. Just try to stop me. They walked outside, the sun setting over Montana mountains, cold air carrying the smell of pine and snow. Winter coming, but inside warmth, inside family. Sarah waited by the bikes, Emma with her, both wearing leather jackets, both part of the tribe. Ready. Marcus fired up his Harley, original 1972. Tommy's name still engraved on the tank. Promise kept, legacy honored. They rode together, 4 bikes, 4 people who'd been strangers 10 years ago, now family, not by blood, by choice, by showing up. The roads were empty, Montana wilderness spread forever. The rumble of engines was meditation. The wind was cleansing. The ride was purpose. Wow. That night, Marcus lay awake, Sarah sleeping beside him, thinking about Tommy, about Emily, about all the people he'd lost and all the people he'd found. The past doesn't die. It waits. And it's got patience you can't imagine. His own words. 10 years ago, to Braden Morrison in the diner. Before everything changed, before promises were kept. Tommy had waited 48 years. Emily had waited 43. Both patient. Both knowing eventually Marcus would find his way. He touched the new red bandana on his nightstand. Replica of Tommy's. Same rough fabric. No blood yet. But the same promise, the same commitment. Take care of the ones who can't fight back. Everyday ghost, every single day. 3 more years passed, time accelerating, the way it does when you're counting the last moments. Lily graduated West Point, top of her class. Marcus and Sarah attended. Anna beside them, Emma too. Steel Vipers rode up in formation, 300 bikes, honor guard for their sister. Lieutenant Lily Rodriguez stood at attention, receiving her commission, becoming her father's daughter. But different, not going to war, going to Pentagon, intelligence, preventing conflicts, saving lives before bullets flew. Daniel would be so proud. Anna whispered it. Marcus heard, knew it was true. Emma graduated high school, full scholarship to medical school, following Sarah's path, becoming a surgeon, turning tragedy into healing. The community center expanded again. 5th building, serving 3 counties, model program. Other cities replicating. The idea spreading. Bikers showing up for kids. Warriors protecting instead of destroying. Marcus was 75, still riding but slower, body accumulating the damage of 75 years, Vietnam wounds, motorcycle crashes, Oj, but still here, still keeping promises. Reaper died at 78. Heart attack, quick, the way he'd wanted. Funeral was massive, 5,000 bikers from 40 states. Viking send-off, flames and honor and tears. Marcus delivered the eulogy, stood at the podium looking at his friend, his president, the man who'd stood beside him in the diner 10 years ago when everything began. Jack Sullivan taught me brotherhood isn't blood. It's choosing to stand together when standing apart would be easier. He stood beside me when I needed it most, and he kept standing, every single day, until he couldn't stand anymore. The words inadequate. How do you summarize a life? How do you capture what someone meant? We ride for those who can't ride for themselves. Jack's mantra, Jack's truth. Now we ride for him. They did. 5,000 bikes, formation riding through Montana, mountains and highways, and the kind of beauty that makes you believe in something bigger. Tank cried Umke. 75 years old and tears streaming down his scarred face. Unashamed, real men cried when something mattered. Jack mattered. Preacher spoke at the burial. 77 years old, voice still strong, still carrying wisdom. Death isn't the end, it's passing the torch. Jack's done his part. Now we do ours. We keep showing up. We keep protecting. We keep being the brothers he believed we could be. The torch passed. Marcus became not just president, but symbol. The man who'd been broken and rebuilt, who'd failed and redeemed, who'd lost everything and found something better. Year 15 arrived. Milestone. 15 years since Lilia walked into the diner. 15 years of promises kept. The anniversary celebration was huge. News coverage, documentary filming, book deals. But Marcus avoided the spotlight. Stayed in the background. Let Lily and Emma tell the story. Let the kids speak. Lily was 22, Army lieutenant, dating another officer, talking about marriage. Life unfolding the way it should. Anna was 49, healthy, cancer-free for 15 years. Miracle and medicine combined. Emma was 25, medical resident, surgical program. Sarah's protege, brilliant and compassionate, using her survival to fuel her work. Sarah was 70, still sharp, still healing, still showing Marcus every day that forgiveness was possible. Marcus was 77, Tommy's age. Tommy never made it past 19. Emily never passed 3. But Marcus had, and every year past their deaths was another year of keeping promises. The memorial wall expanded, not just the 47 from Riverside, but hundreds more. Kids helped over 15 years. Kids pulled from trafficking, from abuse, from systems designed to grind them down. All rescued, all thriving, all proof that intervention worked. Marcus stood before the wall, alone late night, everyone else asleep, looking at faces, remembering names, keeping count. You asked me to take care of them, Tommy. I'm trying. Every day, I'm trying. The bandana on his arm was faded. 15 years of wearing it. New one now, but the promise the same. Some debts can only be paid in blood, but also sweat and time and showing up. The door opened. Lily entered, visiting from Washington. Still came home regularly. Still checked on Marcus and Sarah and Anna and the community. Couldn't sleep. Thinking about your grandfather, Tommy or Vincent. Marcus smiled, the question perfect. 2 very different legacies. Tommy, always Tommy. She stood beside him. 22 years old, officer, warrior, exactly who she was meant to be. You kept his promise. Took me long enough. Dad used to say timing doesn't matter. Only doing it matters. Daniel Rodriguez's wisdom, passed through his daughter, living forever. Marcus looked at Lily, saw the 7-year-old who'd walked into chaos holding a gun, saw the warrior she'd become, saw the future. I'm proud of you. You know that I know. You tell me every week in your letters. Still need to hear it always. They stood together, 2 people 15 years apart, connected by promises and blood that wasn't theirs, family by choice, the best kind. Then Marcus understood. The debt was paid. Tommy's promise kept. Not perfectly, not quickly, but completely. The final anniversary came. 20 years, 2 decades since the diner. Marcus was 82, still riding but barely, body failing the way bodies do, but mind sharp, spirit strong. Lily was 27, captain now, engaged to be married, talking about kids, life continuing forward. Emma was 30, surgeon, Sarah's equal, saving lives daily, honoring her father's redemption. Anna was 54, running a network of community centers across Montana, the model replicated, kids saved by the thousands. Sarah was 75, retired from surgery but teaching, training doctors, passing knowledge forward. The Steel Vipers were 3,000 strong now, chapters in 30 states, all doing the same work, showing up for kids, making warriors into protectors. The celebration was intimate, not media circus, just family, the people who mattered. Marcus stood at the podium. Last time, he knew it, body telling him, time running out. 20 years ago, a 7-year-old girl gave me a second chance. His voice weaker, but the message strong. She reminded me that promises don't expire. They wait, and when you're ready, they give you the opportunity to be who you should have been all along. Lily sat front row, tears streaming, knowing this was goodbye, not immediate, but coming. Tommy Chen believed people could be better. He died believing I could be better. Took me 52 years to prove him right, but I got there. With help, with family, with 2,000 brothers and sisters who refused to let me fail. The audience silent, listening, understanding this was legacy speaking. Every man has two deaths, his own and watching his friend die. I've had my second death. Watch Tommy die. Watch it Emily die. Watch a Reaper die. But I've also had multiple births. Every kid we saved, every life we changed, all of them birthed something new in me. He paused, finding words. Brotherhood means nobody gets left behind. We didn't leave behind Lily, or Emma, or any of the 47 from Riverside, or the 1,000 since. We showed up, that's all it takes. Showing up. Marcus stepped down. Lily caught him, literally. He stumbled, she held him, role reversal. The protected protecting. That night, small gathering, just inner circle. Marcus, Sarah, Anna, Lily, Emma. 5 people who'd been thrown together by crisis and chose to stay together by love. They told stories, remembered the fire, the diner, Vincent's arrest, Blackwell's sacrifice, all the moments that built this family. Marcus listened more than talked, absorbing, storing memories for whatever came next. Later, lying in bed, Sarah's question came soft. How much time? Doctors say months, maybe a year. Cancer, heart, congestive failure, Vietnam wounds catching up, age catching up, life catching up. Does Lily know? She knows. Seen too much death not to recognize it. Sarah cried, silent tears, 40 years together in pieces, 15 solid. Not enough, never enough. I'm not afraid. Marcus's truth, I am, I know. But you're strong, you'll keep going, keep healing, keep teaching, keep being who you are. Morning came, another day. Marcus rode, one last time. Just him and his bike. Tommy's name on the tank, promise on his arm. The Montana wilderness spread forever, mountains and sky and freedom. The rumble of the engine was heartbeat. The wind was breath. The road was life. He stopped at a vista, overlooked the valley. Pinewood below. The community center visible. The place where hurt children became healed. Children, where promises were kept. Tommy, I did it. Took 52 years, but I did it. The wind carried his words away, or carried them to wherever Tommy was. Marcus chose to believe the latter. 6 months later, spring, Montana coming alive after winter. Marcus Morrison died in his sleep. Sarah beside him, peaceful, no pain, just tired, ready. The funeral was massive. 10,000 bikers from every state, largest MC funeral in history, but also families. The 47 from Riverside, the thousands helped since, all coming to honor the man who'd shown up. Lily delivered the eulogy, 27 years old, Army captain, strong despite grief. Marcus Morrison spent 40 years running from himself. Then he spent 20 years running towards something better. He wasn't perfect. He failed people, made mistakes, but he kept showing up every day until he couldn't anymore. Her voice broke. Recovered. He taught me courage isn't not being scared. It's being scared and riding anyway. He taught me family isn't blood. It's showing up. He taught me promises don't expire. They just wait for you to be ready. She held up the red bandana, original. Tommy's blood, faded to brown but sacred. This belonged to Tommy Chen. Marcus carried it for 52 years. He gave it to me when I was 7 and needed protection. Now I pass it forward. She handed it to a child in the front row. 8 years old, recently rescued from trafficking. New member of their family. You wear this, you're protected. By everyone who ever wore a uniform. By everyone who ever kept a promise. By Marcus. By Tommy. By my dad. By all of us. The burial was at the community center. Garden behind the building. Marcus planted there. Headstone simple. Marcus Morrison, 1961 to 2043. He showed up beside it, space reserved for Sarah when her time came. The gathering after was huge. Stories flowing like whiskey. Tears mixing with laughter. Grief and gratitude coexisting. Tank spoke. 80 now. Still massive, still gentle. Ghost taught me the biggest men kneel for the smallest children. That strength is protection, not dominance. I'll miss him every day. Preacher spoke. 82, voice still carrying wisdom. Marcus spent 40 years in darkness before finding light. Proof that redemption is always possible. That change is always available. That being better is always an option. Alex spoke. 73, still sharp. He gave me purpose. Showed me hacking could help instead of hurt. That knowledge could free instead of control. I'm better because he believed I could be. Sarah spoke last. 80. White hair, still beautiful. I left him once, walked away when he needed me. He forgave me. Spent 15 years showing me every day that love survives mistakes. I'll love him until I join him. The sun set. 10,000 bikers started engines. Rode in formation, honor escort. Farewell to their president, their brother. Their proof that broken things could be fixed. 1 year later, the memorial expanded, not just the rescued kids, but Marcus's story, his journey, the full arc, failure to redemption, 40 years lost, 20 years found. Lily visited regularly, brought her daughter, 18 months old, named Emily, Marcus's granddaughter he'd never met but would have loved. She taught her daughter the story, the promise, the red bandana, the legacy. Your great-grandfather made mistakes, but he spent 20 years making them right. That's what matters, not the falling. The getting back up. Emma was 31, chief resident, on track to become youngest surgical director in state history, still carrying Blackwell's redemption, still proving his final choice mattered. Anna was 55. The network of community centers was 40 buildings now, serving 10 states, model programs studied nationally, all because she'd recorded evidence and trusted Marcus to act. Sarah was 76, still teaching, still healing, still carrying Marcus's memory forward. They'd had 15 years, not long enough, but more than many got, grateful for what was instead of bitter about what wasn't. The Steel Vipers were 5,000 strong, Marcus's legacy, his vision, warriors who protected instead of destroyed, men and women who showed up when showing up mattered most. 10 years after Marcus's death, final anniversary, 30 years since the diner. Lily was 37, colonel now, Pentagon, shaping military policy, preventing wars instead of fighting them. 2 kids, husband, life full. She stood at the podium, same place Marcus had stood, same message, different voice. 30 years ago, my mom sent me to find a broken man who'd made a promise 52 years earlier. That man was Marcus Morrison. The promise was Tommy Chen's, and between them, they saved 47 kids. Then thousands more. Then me. Then my children. Then everyone here. The audience was massive. Not just MCs, but families, politicians, military officers, people from across the country, all touched by the legacy, all proof that one promise kept late could ripple forever. Blood doesn't make family. Showing up does. Marcus showed up every day for 20 years. Then we showed up. Then you showed up. And the cycle continues. Kids saving kids, adults protecting children, communities refusing to look away. She held up a photo. Marcus and Tommy, Vietnam, 1968. Two young men before war broke them. Tommy died believing people could be better. Marcus spent 52 years proving him right. Now we carry that torch. We be better. Every day, no matter how hard, no matter how long. We show up. The engine started. 5,000 bikes, formation riding, legacy continuing, promise renewed. Lily's daughter, Emily, 11, now stood beside her, wearing a child-sized leather jacket. Steel Viper's patch. Protected princess. Legacy passing. Grandma Anna says great-grandpa Marcus was a hero. Emily's voice young but curious. He was, but not because he never failed, because he kept trying after he did. Will you tell me about him every day, baby? Every single day. They walked through the memorial, Lily teaching her daughter the names, the faces, the stories. Marcus's wall had expanded, included him now, and Tommy, and Reaper, and Blackwell, and everyone who'd stood up when standing up mattered. At the center, the original red bandana. Behind glass, climate-controlled, preserved. Tommy Chen's blood visible, even 75 years later. The promise still vivid. Below it, new bandanas. Hundreds, each one given to a rescued child, each one carrying the same promise. You're protected. You matter. We showed up. Lily touched the glass, remembered being 7, remembered the gun, remembered Marcus kneeling, remembered Tank catching her, remembered the fire, remembered Emma crying, remembered her mother surviving, remembered everything. Thank you, whispered. To Marcus, to Tommy, to her father, to everyone who'd shown up. For her, for Emma, for thousands, for everyone who needed someone to care. Emily tugged her hand. Can we ride now, Mama? They walked outside. Montana spring perfect. Mountains sharp against sky. Wind carrying pine and possibility. Lily started her bike. Muscle memory from childhood. Marcus's teaching, her father's legacy. All combined. They rode together, mother and daughter, the future carrying the past. The promise continuing, not ending, never ending. As long as someone showed up, the promise lived. As long as warriors became protectors, Tommy's vision survived. As long as children were saved, Marcus's redemption remained real. The road stretched forever. Montana wilderness endless, but also full of stories, full of lives changed, full of promises kept. Lily looked at her daughter riding beside her, 11 years old, strong, brave, exactly who she should be. This is what heroes do. Not win every fight, not never fail. Just keep showing up, keep trying, keep being better than yesterday. The engines rumbled, the wind sang, the mountains watched. Somewhere Marcus Morrison smiled. Somewhere Tommy Chen nodded. Somewhere Daniel Rodriguez stood proud. The promise was kept. The legacy secured. The family continued. Blood doesn't make family. Showing up does. And they showed up. Every day, every single day, forever.